Hey everybody, I got a video here for you today. We're going to take a look at a couple more pyramids. And I said I was going to talk about the Great Pyramid next, but that video is going to take quite a while. But these are called the Pyramids of Lisht, and I know a lot of you have not heard of these, so these are important to talk about. And these are really quite strange, the ruins around them, and the attribution to pharaohs of the 12th dynasty is highly questionable when other things are read about these pyramids, but you immediately notice these strange ruins right under the ground here. Is this an ancient harbor system? Docks? You know, usually tombs built under the ground, they go down and they're not right below the sand. So this is just very strange. And I'm going to do a little reading. This is the northern pyramid of Lisht, known as the Pyramid of Amenemhet, coming from the 12th dynasty, and his son, supposedly, Senusret. And I know a lot of these pharaohs' names are very identical, or very similar, but this is his pyramid down here, they say. At least these are who they are attributed to. But when I do the reading here, that has to be highly questioned, but here, clearly. Now just check this out. If we look at this carefully, obviously the ancient shoreline was here, and if this isn't an ancient harbor system, I don't know what is. You have something right under the sand here, and clearly this came out to the ancient shore when the Nile was brimful. That's obvious. And here is this other docking around this pyramid. These are built very close to the Nile today, or the ancient Nile riverbed, but that looks like ancient dock system to me. Here is Senusret's pyramid, and let's take a look at this kind of on a 3D level. And clearly here, down here, that would have led down to the water. It looks like an ancient harbor system with two, what you would say, piers coming out here, maybe another one coming out this way. And this one coming out to the north, it looks like there is an ancient water system right down here where this ends. Take a look at that right here at the bottom now. Looks like it came out to an ancient water system. This looks like two docks where the ancient shore would have been down in this area. That's what it clearly looks like to me. But do they say these are docks, or do they say these are causeways? Do they say there is one, or do they say there is three? Well, let's read. Now here is the pyramid of Senusret I. It says, the valley temple of Senusret I complex is buried beneath considerable sand and a Roman cemetery, and has, in fact, not precisely been located. From there, the long causeway connected the Valley Temple with the Mortuary Temple. Well, let's go back to Google Earth. It says the Mortuary Temple was connected to the Valley Temple by the causeway. Well, I see no such indication of that on Google Earth. I do see something down here, but it is in no way connected with these three long, what you would say are causeways or piers coming out from the main pyramid complex. I think the story on this is very flimsy, and I think we need to look at what the remains tell us. Clearly, thousands and thousands of years ago, this was an ancient harbor system in here, just like up at Giza. And here is a diagram of what the original pyramid looked like of Senusret I, perfectly aligned to the cardinal points you can see here. And they say that Senusret and Amenemhet I were so retro, they built their pyramids exactly like pyramids were built in the 5th and 6th dynasty. That's how retro they were. That's the explanation of exactly similar designs. They just say, well, they just wanted to kind of revert to an older style of pyramid building. But the only identifying features to Senusret come in the outer complexes. He was buried in a mastaba-style tomb near this place. They say there are smaller queen pyramids in this area. The original structure obviously much, much ancient, and the pyramid, and then a pharaoh comes along and attaches himself to this pyramid. That's a story all the way through Egypt, or at least that's the way it appears to me. I could be wrong, but then again, I might not be. And here you see there are at least 9 small pyramids, and I'm not sure if these are considered actual pyramids of Egypt, but they for sure could be. So we could be talking about 11 or 12 pyramids here today. But it's predictable who these small pyramids belong to. And let's just read here. It says, there are 9 small pyramid complexes enclosed between the inner and outer pyramid walls that are mostly the same size, with the exception of Pyramid 1, which is slightly larger than the other. Pyramid 1 was probably built first. The last pyramid, number 9, may have been built as late as the reign of Amenemhet II, or even Senusret II. By this time, stone had apparently run short, for the Pyramid 9 is cased in mud brick. And it says, the owner of a few of these small pyramids have been identified. These subsidiary pyramids probably belong to members of the royal family, but specifically 2 belong to Nofret or Nefiru I and Itekiet, and these are queens and sisters of Senusret I and a daughter of Amenemhet I. That's the way the story seems to go. Small pyramids were built around original structures, and family members of the mighty pharaohs were put into here. I can certainly attribute this building to the pharaohs of dynastic Egypt, but that's about it. Now it says, regrettably, the burial chamber, which lies some 22 to 25 meters, 72 to 82 feet below ground level, is filled with water, as in Amenemhet the first burial chamber, but they were never buried in there. In fact, it was only just above the water table when the burial chamber was constructed. Egyptologists see this as a desire by Senusret I and future kings to connect with the realm of Osiris, whose cult he seemed to favor during his lifetime. It has never been entered by archaeologists. However, in this pyramid, a second corridor has been found below the first. It is longer, flatter, and wider than the entrance corridor, and was probably used to transport materials for the substructure that could not have been passed through the normal entrance corridor. It is also probably useful in digging the substructure. After the burial chamber was completed, though it's never been entered and a body was never found in it, this tunnel was also sealed and has never actually been seen by archaeologists. However, some Egyptologists believe that this shaft has caused instability within the modern structure. Now, let's do a little reading from the 1837 expedition to Egypt. It says, beyond Barnasht, the canal is evidently artificial, and it says, Mr. Perrin arrived about 12 o'clock on the 28th. And it says, the pyramids, they are usually distinguished by this name by the Arabs, but they are also called the pyramids of Metnia or of Bema. Metnia is about 2.5 miles to the eastward, but Bema, although still farther off to the northeastward, occupies an ancient site, probably that of Pemi or Pemu, and has, therefore, of the two, perhaps a better claim to the pyramids. Going on to the next page. It says, both of these monuments are entirely ruined. The space between them, rather more than a mile, contains excavated tombs and mummy pits, most probably belonging to an ancient cemetery, but neither sculpture nor hieroglyphs are to be observed near them. In the plate in a section of the northern pyramid, and some of these drawings have not made the transcription, the online book here, it says, it is situated near a canal and is placed upon an elevation about 60 feet above the plain. Many of the blocks have been taken away to build a bridge at Teame, and their removal has disclosed its construction, which is very irregular and consists of differently sized stones put together with Nile earth instead of mortar, and arranged in walls of unequal thickness, so as to form steps or degrees, as in the Great Pyramid of Saqqara, and over the whole a pyramid appears to have been formed with bricks, and then covered with a stone casing. The present base is 360 feet exactly, and the height about 90 feet. A section of this southern pyramid is also given. From having been built with soft limestone, it has crumbled away until it has the appearance of a round hillock, and in fact many of the adjacent desert hills are much more pyramidal. It is, however, with greater masses of stone and apparently with more care than the northern pyramid. And this view, the present base of the southern pyramid, is 450 feet, and the height about 68.5 feet, and that is measured about 200 years ago, and there is no mention of pharaohs being associated to these ancient pyramids, these ruined pyramids back then. But he says built near canals and artificial canals. I just found that text very interesting. Now here is the northern pyramid of Amenemhet I at Lisht. And I want you to take a look at this here. Here is the base excavated. We have an ancient floor with massive stones, just like at other pyramid sites, Giza, Saqqara, the massive casing stones. And then we have an attempt by later pharaohs to, cap this thing or put their legacy to it, build on top of pyramids, just as pyramids around the world. That is his story. But the original pyramid here, how old does this go back? If there's ancient harbors, well, I think this pyramid could go back to one of the original structures. That's just the way it appears to me in the reading. Now I'm going to read a little here on the pyramid of Amenemhet I, and it's just very confusing, and it's no wonder we don't have the proper stories on these, because what you find just is very confusing. It says the pyramid of Amenemhet I was about 55 meters tall when originally built, but because of poor construction, quarrying, and tomb robberies, it now stands approximately 20 meters in height. Apart from poor construction, the material used to build the brick pyramid was not durable. Studies show it was made from unfired mud brick and stones from other monuments. The mud brick, sand, and debris would have been the material choice since each was readily available, and the mud brick proved cheap since the city was so close to Fayum. And the mud brick, coming from the 12th dynasty, I have no problem with that. But specifically, stones from monuments of Khufu, Khafre, Unas, and Pepe have been found at Amenemhet's funerary complex. Subsequent excavations uncovered plans for a pyramid much larger than the building actually constructed. One theory is that the terrain of the site was unsuitable for the structure due to poor sloping topography, and maybe it was unsuitable for a larger structure built on top of an original structure. It says alternatively, it has been suggested that the pharaoh's health could have been declining, and he did not think he would live to see it finished in time, yet he did not want to be buried in an unfinished tomb. A third theory holds that Amenemhet I had already died after designing the tomb, and his son and his successor rushed through his father's memorial so that he could start construction of his own. So there are many theories. In other words, they have no clue. The pyramid's true entrance is found on the north side, just as all other pyramids are, and this is truly aligned to the 4 cardinal points perfectly, just as pyramids are. Why would a tomb be aligned to the cardinal points? Well, people have some explaining to do. It says, from here, a hallway lined with pink granite leads to a small room at the core of the pyramid, from where a shaft connects to the burial chamber. The chamber has been filled with Nile seepage water over the years, making new discoveries difficult, and I guess it's pretty much underwater. It says no full statues of Amenemhet I were unearthed during archaeological expeditions. And his tomb is found near this pyramid. His tomb was found near this pyramid. And here is a look at all we have left of the pyramid of Amenemhet I today. But I have officially run out of time. But once again, these are the pyramids of Lisht, and very strange ruins coming off of these. This is the northern pyramid, the pyramid of Amenemhet I of the 12th dynasty, That's who this pyramid is attributed to, though nothing in this pyramid can be associated to Amenemhet. He comes from the 12th dynasty, though these pyramids are built identical to structures built in the 5th or 6th dynasty, they say. It's a very confusing story. And just to the south is the pyramid of Senusret I, the son of Amenemhet I, who became co-regent in the 22nd year of the 30th year of the rule of Amenemhet I. So they co-ruled for 10 years. Amenemhet I was assassinated by bodyguards. Senusret took over. This is his pyramid, they say, from the 12th dynasty, though built exactly like 5th dynasty pyramids. Nothing in this pyramid is associated to Senusret. The burial chamber or tomb chamber has never been thoroughly investigated, I guess. They say there is a causeway leading to a valley temple, which has never been discovered. These look like harbor systems to me. That's the way it looks. The story of these pyramids is confusing. It's inadequate. Hope you thought this was interesting, and you all have a very nice day.